Hello and welcome to our El Nuevo Dia newsroom here in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico, bringing you live updates about the earthquakes that hit the island this morning. My name is Rafael Lama, Deputy Director for El Nuevo Dia,
And I'm Janeline Vega Medina.
and we're bringing you updates about everything that's gone on ever since this morning, since at 4:24 a.m. the first earthquake hit this morning. And Janeline, tell us about the magnitude of those earthquakes.
Yes, we were struck by a 6.4 magnitude earthquake at 4:24 a.m. This was followed by a series of aftershocks, and then at 7:18 a.m. we were struck by another earthquake. This one was a 5.6 magnitude. And, you know, this comes a day after we were struck by a 5.8 magnitude earthquake during Three Kings Day. And it left the southern part of Puerto Rico very, very vulnerable.
Correct.
So that meant that some houses collapsed yesterday, but then many more collapsed today. And we had a school collapsing in Guanica, a church collapsing in Guayanilla. Yeah, so a lot of things happened. Streets blocked by rocks. So it's a very difficult situation. We have not had something like this from 1918, right?
Yeah, so over 100 years that we have not had an earthquake of this magnitude. In 1918, there was an earthquake that was a magnitude of 7.3 and 116 people died. Unfortunately, we had one death today.
Yes.
And so sadly, one 63-year-old man passed away in Ponce, in the southern part of the island. And also we had a woman that was also hurt.
Yeah.
But in terms of fatalities, that was the only one that we've had.
And no more injuries either.
No more injuries. But it's important to remember that Puerto Rico, even though we prepare for hurricanes, there's not a culture of preparing for earthquakes because of what we mentioned.
Yeah.
It's been over 100 years since we haven't had a strong earthquake hit the island. So there's a lot that the government and the media outlets such as El Nuevo Dia that we're doing in terms of informing and urging people to prepare themselves and get their backpacks ready with first aid kits and medical supplies, water,
and also
food,
to remain calm.
and also to remain calm.
Yeah, it's very important.
In terms of the earthquake that Janeline was mentioning yesterday, the 5.8. The governor, Wanda Vasquez, was analyzing if she was to declare a state of emergency for Puerto Rico. Now, that state of emergency has been declared.
Yes, she signed today an executive order doing just that, and she also activated the National Guard. So that means that more funds are coming, for the southern part of Puerto Rico and the entire island, really. But it's especially for that section of the southwestern part of Puerto Rico.
Right. Now, we're also waiting for the White House. The White House this morning said that they are aware of what's going on in Puerto Rico, and they have informed President Donald Trump of the situation. We've had also several congressmen, such as Marco Rubio and Nidia Velázquez, urging the president and the White House to offer assistance to Puerto Rico in terms of what...
Yes, and the governor said that she was calling the White House. She was going to call the White House to speak to somebody there, hopefully President Trump, about the situation that's happening here in Puerto Rico.
Now, Janeline, talk to us a little bit about the education, the public school system. Luckily, there's no school yet in Puerto Rico. It was supposed to begin on Thursday. It was moved till next week. So
classes were supposed to start on Thursday. That was postponed to Monday the 13th. That is still in place. So if your kid goes to public school, you still have classes. You still have to get them to school on the 13th. They are also doing inspections for many of the schools because many of these schools are shelters.
Right.
So they're used as shelters, and after what happened in Guanica, because a school collapsed, but 6 others also suffered damages.
Right.
So they're checking out what's going on in Guanica.
Right.
So keep that in mind, and let's see what happens, because this is an ongoing situation, and the aftershocks are still going on.
Right. Important in the school aspect, important to underline that school that collapsed, it holds about 200 students. So luckily,
it's a functioning school.
It's a functioning school. So luckily, there were no classes going on. And speaking of shelters, there's already 345 people that have been evacuated and are in shelters because their homes suffered severe damages. We've had in Guayanilla mostly, Guanica as well, several houses that have collapsed. And it's important to emphasize that in Puerto Rico, we have about 150,000 homes that are constructed without the proper codes. With no engineering supervision or architectural supervision. So the governor and the authorities are urging these people that live in these homes to evacuate, to seek shelter, whether it's families or proper government shelters, and not be exposed because there are some shocks that are expected.
If you feel that your home is not safe, if your home suffered any damages, we urge you to seek shelter. You can. I'm going to read some of these. Guánica Coliseo Mario Tito Rodríguez, Ponce Coliseo Juan Pachín Vicens, Coamo Escuela José Felipe Sayas, Lares Escuela Julio Lebrón, San Germán, Antigua Guardia Nacional, Guayanilla, Escuela Gloria M. Borrero, Segunda Unidad, Barrio Macana. So if you don't feel safe, seek shelter and call the authorities. They are very eager to help. We have the numbers on our website, so you can visit that and look for that information.
And just to wrap it up, we want to go into the electric grid. The Electric Power Authority of Puerto Rico basically shut down after the earthquake. There's different reasons for that. The first is that the system, the electric grid, has a sort of a defense mechanism that when it feels a shake or an earthquake, it shuts itself down to protect itself. But we have confirmation from this morning that two of the stations, Palo Seco and Costa Sur, have been damaged, especially Costa Sur was severely damaged. I spoke earlier this morning with the director of the Power Authority, Jose Ortiz, and he had mentioned back then that they could restore most of the service even without Costa Sur because of redundancy and other investments that they've done. But a lot of Puerto Rico is still without power. The priorities are hospitals. Centro Médico, which is the main hospital in Puerto Rico here in San Juan, has already been reestablished with.
They have electricity.
They have electricity, and then we're working on the rest. So we're going to wrap it up, but please keep coming back to us at elnuevodia.com, nd.com, for the latest updates about these hurricanes and the aftermath.